Welcome to HDPP Live on a Saturday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. Wearing Hinckley's 6 of the best, stupendous quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chat room applauses. History aside. Local causes. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it HDPP.
Good evening, here we are again, happy as can be. Oh, I know, come on, I have to say, it's beautiful out there, and who would want to be stuck in watching this silly old face on a Sunday night? I can't blame you. Welcome along to the programme once again, HDPP live from the heart of Blighty, and it's me. I think it's me. Wow, what a busy weekend it's been for yours truly. But however, it's lovely that you're all joining us and you're putting your glasses of wine down. Oh, come on, we better go in and see old silly face. Yeah, lovely. I'm glad that you've made it because, like I say, to be totally honest with you, I'd want to be outside sitting with a nice, nice beverage of some description. No, my time would just be a cup of tea, but it's a lovely evening, so I can't blame you. Maybe you're watching outside. Let me know. Let me know if you're watching outside on your mobile device or something. Say, yeah, that'd be good. Well, it's a Sunday night, so it's another round of HDPP Live, of course. And, wow. We had a 0 response to our anagram question last week. Brilliant. Thank you, guys. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it was. It's going to go down in the myths of HDPP history as the anagram that was, but no one ever got because no one knew what it was in the first place. But Mrs. G was working on it for quite a while, actually. We were trying our best to come up with something, and no, I don't know. So don't worry about it. We'll just have to put it down to experience. However, as I say, first into the chat room this evening. By the way, if you want to say hello and chat, join in the chat. That's what it's all about on this side of the screen. You can activate your chat and then, say, oh, hello. And it was Ian Roberts who came in first. It's blimey, a lot of room in here tonight, said Ian. Yeah, followed quickly by our Steve, down on the farm gathering the eggs. And then Dave B come walking in. Oh, my word, Dave B, how are you? He's here. Still didn't know about last week's anagram, so don't worry about it. That's all right. Also, Pat Galloway joined us, and he wanted a seat by the window so we could look out and watch the sun go down. We can do that for you. Daniel Coburn's here as well. Hi, Daniel. Glad you could make it. Thanks for saying hello to me yesterday morning on FOSS 107. That was a busy shift too, but it was good fun as we were covering live the opening of the new co-op on Fieldfair Drive or Road or whatever it is. But however, on the edge of town, right next to the Triumph Motorbike Factory. More about that very, very shortly. Okay, Jan Kirby's here. Jan, I thought you'd be out, lounging on your sun lounger, as you do down your end of the woods. Yeah, absolutely. I thought you'd be there. Queen Bee is here. Dennis Perkins here as well. Hi, Den. I bet you've got the top off a Nookie Brown. I had a Newcastle Brown at lunchtime. I used to go out every Sunday round to the local club, but, well, in the end, I thought, well, I might as well sit here and have one, and it was cheaper, and I can open it when I want. And also, like I say, cutbacks having to be made, and the Sunday lunch drink went, and I still go Saturday. So there, Carol Beasley, the lovely Carol is here as well. Hello, me lovelies, she says. Hello, lovely is back. That's good. And Jane and Tim are here. I'm so glad you're with us this evening, both of you. Got some good questions tonight in Six of the Best. Russett's here as well. Thank you, Russett. And David S. is in the room. So, David, nice to know that you're here. We're also joined by Jeff and Anna. The team is all in Brig tonight. Okay. I wonder if they'll do any good tonight. We'll find out. And we always know we can start when the crops ring. And we always know, if the join is that they haven't had a better offer, basically. Alan, Marie, welcome to the programme. He says, still no idea about last week's anagram. Listen, the whole town was going, what was the anagram, Gardner? We'll never, ever know. I tell you what I even tried doing was putting in the anagram itself and doing a bit of into the generator that I use. And I thought, I wonder if it might pop up with one or two words, which I'll then go, I know what it was. No, even the anagram generator says, no, I don't know what it was. So we haven't got much chance there. Let's just see. Yeah. Oh, Elaine Galloway's here. And and Jan Kirby said, I went to the same place as Dangerous Den's daughter. Oh, out for lunch. Must be nice to go out for lunch for a change. Absolutely. Anyway, welcome to the programme, all of you. I always like to say hello to people. And if you're a new viewer, remember to please remember to like and subscribe. It is very important that you click the little bell button. Firstly, that tells you when we go live, which obviously it did because I think a lot of you all came running in like, when the dinner bell goes. I noticed that a lot of people started coming in after that. So that's good. So like every video we post, please, but also make sure you subscribe. It all helps with the analytics and antibiotics that it uses. Okay, that's good. So here we go then. First of all, we've got some news tonight, and we've got a couple of bits of news for you. But first of all, I'm going to go straight to Six of the Best, so everyone gets a good chance to play Six of the Best. Okay, and this week's anagram is certified, like I should have been last week. Sue has certified the anagram is right. It works. Okay, so let's get into it with this week's Six of the Best. Here we go. Now then, straight into a controversial one, eh? So, where in Hinckley is the bird estate? I only found out the other day. I said, well, blow me. And the chances are the bird estate will grow. That's all I shall say. But where in Hinckley is the bird estate? And Mrs. G said, don't know. So I had to show him, and she goes, oh, yeah. It'll become as popular, as well known as the Flower Estate. Out in Burbage we've got the Flower Estate and you've got the Gel Estate. Do you know what I mean? It'll be one of those sort of areas. But I want to know, where in Hinckley is the Bird Estate? That's your local knowledge question today. I can even see you now. Anne Hunt says, we have one in Whirl. Absolutely they do. So we thought we'll have one in Hinckley. Where is the Bird Estate? No, not that sort of bird. We're on about the feathered variety. Question number 2. Where in the world would you find the Spanish Steps? Someone's bound to say Spain, isn't they? They're bound to. However, it could be Spain. But where in the world would you find the Spanish Steps? Hello to Kit Parker. Just coming in late, Kit, I see. I suppose drunk and tripping over the threshold there. But welcome, Kit. So where in the world would you find the Spanish Steps? Maybe it's in a dance. Never thought about that. Okay, question 3. A lion's roar can be heard up to 8 kilometres away. Is that true? Is it false? We'll find out. At the end of the programme, a lion's roar can be heard up to 8 kilometres away. Question 4. We're going to guess the year this time. So this is the year where, you see, I know you'll jump on Google. You shouldn't be doing that, it's cheating. However, VAT is introduced, Sunderland win the FA Cup, and the Dalai Lama, he visits the UK for the very first time. But what was the year all that happened? Can you hear them keyboards clacking? I can hear the keyboards clacking. Yeah, right. Question number 5, where am I? Now, I'll leave it on the screen a minute. If you're not been to Hinckley for a while, David Blower, you probably haven't got a chance. But I am in Hinckley, but where am I? I thought that made quite a nice one, actually. So, where in Hinckley am I? That's question number 5. We'll be repeating these questions in just a moment's time. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the anagram question that works this week. Eaton Inverters, Northern Drovers. And the clue, fancy a drink? I do actually, I'm just going to have a slurp. Right, so I'll just leave that on the screen a moment so you can get all your letters. Eton, Inverters, Northern Drovers. So, the clue being fancy a drink. Let's see how you get on with it first. I do have a second clue if you all start struggling. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So let's go through them one more time for you then. Question number 1. Where in Hinckley is the Bird Estate? The Bird Estate. Okay, and it's not the sort. No, it's the feather variety. So where's the Bird Estate? That's question number 1. Question number 2. Where in the world would you find the Spanish Steps? That's question number 2. Question number 3. True or false? A lion's roar can be heard up to 8 kilometres away. Nay, could it be further? Is it true or false? Question number 4. We're trying to guess the year. The year that VAT was introduced. Sunderland win the FA Cup. The Dalai Lama makes his first UK visit. I remember it all, but what was the year? It was a year when I had a lot more hair, I can tell you. Question 5. And Anne Hunt just said, I have no idea on number 5, but it is in Hinckley. Where am I? And Carol Beasley's given up already. She said, well, I can say right away, I'll get none right tonight. Oh, Carol, that's very defeatist. I'm sure you can if you have a go. The anagram question, like I say, we do have an answer tonight. I had it tattooed on my forehead as well last night. Okay, right. Eton Inverters, Northern Drovers. Eton Inverters, Northern Drovers. Rearrange that. It'll take you to a local area, somewhere in the area. I'll give you a clue. Fancy a drink, but it's not a pub. Yeah. What do you mean? Somebody just. Shocker. What do you mean it's not a pub? No, it's not a pub, but say fancy a drink. And if you work it all out, you'll see how fancy a drink comes into it. I will give you another clue shortly if nobody gets it right. And I noticed that at the minute, smart ass John Denny is not in the room. So you've in with a chance tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. I've not seen Kath or John come into the room tonight. So maybe you can win it tonight. Good evening to Mr. Nosy. Our Steve Picker's just come into the room. Now, first of all, Steve, I haven't had a chance to hear you on radio last year. I must go back onto the listen again. But having said that, I know that you gave myself and Hinckley District past and present a mention, to which we say thank you, mate. Big thumbs up. That is very, very appreciated. And as I say, fame at last. I always said, Steve, I'd make you famous. Now, didn't I? There you go. Good. Okay. Tonight's programme, we've got a little bit of a mixed bag of it. We do have a nosy. In fact, we have a classic nosy tonight. We'll be having that later on in the programme. I want to just firstly update you with our blue tit situation. Now, sadly, we started off with a clutch of 9 eggs. We think 8 probably hatched, maybe 7 hatched. And then sadly, in the last week, we have lost nearly all of them, but 2. And here we go. Just so you can see, this was the latest pictures. The chicks are coming on now, but I do feel sorry for Mummy, because she's on her own. There is no male bird about. And so she's doing all the feeding. There was no way she was going to be able to keep all those chicks fed. So as you can see here, the 2 chicks that have survived, and they are getting their feathers a little bit now. I think we're going to be just have the 2 this time. But I think that poor mother, do feel sorry for her. So there we go. Right. So that is the update. Whoops. That is the update on the HDPP blue tits. Got to be careful how you say it. So it's a bit of a shame, really, and we did actually have some video of the mum. She was picking the dead babies up and taking them out, and it's sort of quite sad, but nature going on all the way. So yes, it's sad, but we've got 2. So 2 is better than none. So we'll keep you updated with that as we go on. Now, hello to Julie Jeffcott. She said, sorry I'm late. It's all right, Julie, next time bring a note. You know how we do things here at HDPP. Right, okay then. Got some news. Would you like some news now, or would you like some news after a feature? Because I've been talking too long. I'll tell you what, we'll have a little feature, then I'll give you some news. Jan Kirby said, by the way, saw the peregrine the peregrine chick on Saturday in St Mary's. We have 1 chick at St Mary's, and Steve Townsend and the team been keeping a very close eye on that. So brilliant. Jan Kirby, is it good news? It could be. I tell you what, we'll have a little feature, then we will come back, and then we will have a little bit of news for you. We're going back, I thought, for the benefit of new viewers and for those that missed it the first time round, we'd show you this very short film, which is, I think it's only about 15 minutes long at tops, but it was only taken in 2001, but you can see how much the town has changed in just sort of 23 years. Let's have a look at this, which was filmed by the late Dennis Marklew. We've shown it before, but it's worth watching again because even more has changed since this film was first shot way back in 2001. So, settle back and enjoy while you're working on that anagram and 6 of the best. We start in Druid Street. And in Druid Street, of course, lots of changes have been going on. Some of the buildings still there today, including Graphic House and, of course, the old Moore and Osborne building. But this was taken by Dennis Marklew, who was filming some scenes of old Hinckley where he used to live. Bottom of Well Lane before the current apartments were all built there, for example. The garage on the corner. You forget all of a sudden, don't you? The Steam Bakery, which is now, of course, part of Sellers, one of our sponsors, and it would be fully renovated after this a few years later. and sellers have made a wonderful job. Of doing the building up and making it look more presentable. So there we have it. There's the view. What I call Morn Osborne's. It was, of course, Small Shores, but of course, it was only the office quarter bit there that saved. The buildings either side. So this is Small Shores had it then. But the actual factory buildings you can see attached to the Art Deco building. And the Denny's have arrived. They said, we've just got a new phone. John had to sign me in. Been watching on the TV. All right. So, smart asses with us. Right. And then we go to Eel's Yard. We're in Stockwell Head. And although the buildings are still there, they've all been, a lot of them have been done up as well. Lily's Yard, for example. A lot of development happened in Lily's Yard, looking a lot better today too. The Wesleyan Chapel there being brought back into use today, even as we speak, for various things. Eel's Yard is another one. Once again, it videoed this because he grew up in these yards, etc. That one doesn't change that much, and it's a shame, and I've said it many times about the yards. Not really, they're just cut-throughs these days. They haven't got little features in there which would lead you to want to go up there and, let's say, do a bit of shopping or something. However, that's the John Wesleyan Chapel. And, of course, Chapel Yard itself, which we've featured many times, HDPP, looking towards Castle Street, as you can see, as it did then way back in 2001. This was January 2001. The old Christmas decorations still up. Samuels are still in Castle Street. So once again, a lot of things have changed. Remember Bowen's, the travel agent, for example. And even though the building society on the corner, certain features of the town still stay pretty well the same. Nice to see that Piggy's Hollow is still with us today as we look down towards Church Walk and St Mary's Church. You can see that obviously, look, the Christmas tree's still up from obviously 2000 and Christmas 2000. And the view down onto where the old swimming baths used to be, of course, Station Road, and the back of our award-winning toilets. Look in the background, because all that has gone now. That's all changed. Appleton House and the printers and so on. That has all changed beyond all recognition. And now our cinema stands there, a restaurant on the corner, and this view, the old view that we used to have in Lancaster Road, now where Taro Lounge is today. The old Castle End Youth Club, for example, the old bus station. All how it used to be. And like I said, and it has still got another good 11 years before it would start to change to the view to which we have today. But it's always good to have a look back and see what was there. Because when people are saying today, oh, it's rubbish, it's we think, well, look, this is what was here before. You mean you preferred that to what we got now? That's how I equate things. And we have to move forward at some times. And let's face it, this was a big open space. Can you remember the St John's Ambulance Hall there? Ray Allen's in the background. Waterloo Road, as it was then, with its short parade of shops. And panning across, we'll see Iceland. Mum went there, you know. And Quick Save. And that great big car park now all taken up, and much better use of the space made, I believe, that with the Crescent. Whether you like the Crescent or not is up to you, but I'm just saying, better use of space. All this was just open and remnants from a different time. Welcome, Judy Peatfield. Said, flipping heck, took me ages to sign in. Well done, Judy. You're going to like tonight. We'll be in Hill Shilton in a bit. The old Hinckley Times offices and the TA hall. All how it used to look. And of course, we're at the back of Taylor's garage on the left-hand side. It's not till you see these and you think, yeah, blimey, yeah. Don't you just? And I hope this is just bringing back a few memories of things. Just how round Hinckley used to look. Here's Frank Taylor's as it was in 2001. This is round the side of the TA hall there. And that's the side of the dental practice in Station Road there. Cathdenny, we've got a fantastic town, really. Well, I always suggest people that, let's say, knock the town, say, well, go and try an equivalent sized town and whatnot and see how you do. We don't do too bad, does us, Hinckley. There's always room for improvement, but you want to go to some of the other places, trust me. They're down in the dumps too, and I think we've done very well to get Hinckley to where it is today. So there's the view. Of course, like say today, our new cinema stands here and a gym where the Volvo garage once stood. It's a totally different vista that we get today. So the view outside the dental surgery, looking down Station Road towards the town centre, of course, the unmistakable side of the spire of St Mary's Church. The Brunel Road car park, once again, all this has been golloped, all been taken up with the brand new development of the Crescent and the Sainsbury's store. And at the bottom, 13 amp. This used to be Downs' department as well. So the back of James Bennett's there, and also the garage that used to stand there on the corner of Brunel Road. You see, it's amazing how much you forget. And who can forget the Seiko restaurant and the Helter Skelter? You think, oh yes, of course it was. Yes, of course it was. And the view into Waterloo Road as it was with Punctilio, the model shop. The whole row of shops there, which were originally built in 1965. And they served their purpose. You may remember Wainfleet down there, the Freeville Calf. Yeah, we're back in Brunel Road. ATS Tyres type of place on the left. Look at that space that has been better used. I really do believe that, yeah. And then, look, before Stockwell's was built in new buildings, look, and Wood Street, the site of the old Palladium or Lawrence's or Unit Sales, it stood empty like that for many, many years. Fire and Water and Carnes Wine Bar, two things that have changed totally now. Carnes is still closed. The Fire and Water place is a different business operating from there now. But lots of people refer to Carnes Wine Bar. It was the first sort of wine bar in Hinckley, and it did very well. Townsend Cycles, now it's a DeMarco kitchen shop type place. And of course, B&Q, where the old Herringtons used to stand many, many years ago, and of course Samuel Davis's. Then we go to Derby Road, and you forget about these old places. We're going to see Herbert Pratt's factory. Can you remember Herbert Pratt's standing back off Derby Road? We're going to look at that in a minute. Tunnicliffe Engineering still there. Mike and his team still there today. This is at the back of Herbert Pratt's factory. Remember this? All this would be cleared away, and then flats and stuff built there, as you can see here from this demolition rubble, which I think, if I remember right, is the old council yard being demolished. I'm just going off my my little notes here, because I know that there was he does go down to the old council yard, and also you're going to see the old Middlefield Lane Football Club stand as well in just a moment. So now we've come out of town, we're down by say the old council depot down Middlefield Lane. On the back of, I think actually is the back of Fludes on Netherley Road. That's where that is. I've just remembered. Forgive me. So at the back of Flood is and a jitter. And to the old Hinckley United ground down Middlefield Lane, how it once was. All this has gone now. And of course, a lot of building has taken place down here and redevelopment as well. The land you see now is all allotments, if I remember right. My brother had an allotment down here as well. And of course, this is where, for those of you that don't know, Middlefield Lane actually continues. But some bright spark has built over Middlefield Lane. And then they've cut through with the outer perimeter road. But Middlefield Lane does go on. Now, it's very interesting that the powers that be, I will say, have done this oversight. Could come back and bite them in the butt, I would say. However, there we go. Daniel Coburn said, I used to live in the new development on Middlefield. Oh, right, okay then, mate. There we go, the vista to Hinckley United Football Club. And David Allen said, yes, the depot was at Middlefield Lane. Absolutely it was. When I realised where we were, when I realised we were down at the back of Netherley Road, I suddenly realised. There you go. Well, there you go. 2001. That was filmed by the late Dennis Markland. We're grateful for that because as time goes on, you get to appreciate it even more. So there we go. And that's what HDPP is all about. We're trying to preserve our memories and stuff. And so we remember it. Then you think, oh my word, you need to show other people. What, is that how it used to look? You know, if you show that film now to people that are now living and some of the places that was demolished to make their place, they're going, oh look, never knew it looked like that. You know what I mean? And I think that's fascinating. Anne says she used to live in Middlefield Place, built in 1972-73. Yeah, you see, all together. Wonderful. Now then, I said I got some news. Yes, I'm not on the beer either. Hang on. Right, we're going to go over 6 of the best. I'm going to give you some news. What will the news be? You'll like it. Not a lot, but I think you're going to like it. Let's go over 6 of the best one more time. And we are asking, where in Hinckley is the bird estate? The bird estate. It's a good question, a brand new question. Never used that before because I didn't know about it till the other day. And then when I looked on the maps, I went, oh, no one sent me a memo. Question number 2. Where in the world would you find the Spanish Steps? We're not talking dancing either. Question 3. A lion's roar can be heard up to 8 kilometres away. Now, is that true or do you think I've made it up? You decide. Question 4. This was the year that VAT was introduced. Sunderland won the FA Cup and the Dalai Lama. He makes the first UK visit. I remember it all. It was a damn good year. But what year was it? Number 5. Where am I in Hinckley? Yeah, that's posh, isn't it? Where in Hinckley am I? Pretty easy, actually. We know that in a bit, the smug John Denny will be along to answer all these questions after he's finished cooking Kath's dinner. And after he's finished writing his book. Otherwise, that's a good one. Maybe we ought to ban him from being able to answer any questions till he's finished his book. Tell me what you think. Put your comments in the chat room. I'd like to hear about that. And question 6, the anagram question. Eton Inverters Northern Drovers. Now, I'll give you a clue of fancy a drink. No one so far has got the anagram to my knowledge, so I'll give you another clue. This is a public service. Oh, look at this, John Denny. I got the anagram and the where am I without sitting down. Right, well, John's got the... Right, yes, John Denny has got the anagram, but I'll just go to add to that. This is a public service. Fancy a drink? This is a public service. Yeah, okay. And John Fletcher says, Paul, I didn't think you were old enough to remember that year. John, it was a brilliant year. Trust me, it was a brilliant year. Happy, happy times. Oh, dear. It is one of my favourite years. But however, I don't want to spill the beans too much yet. Talking of spilling beans, you want some good news. You want some news? You want news? Got it. I have. All right, it ain't that good. It ain't that good. No, it's good news. You see, they like it. I told you they'd like it. Right. Okay. Blimey, didn't know we'd paid them that much. For ages, I've been promising you something new in our, let's say, in our range. We've had the Sicily Pickering, we've got the tea towels and stuff. Thanks to one of our wonderful sponsors, have now got something really special. Shall I show you? I have to lean over here. Have we got a fanfare? I used to have a fanfare here. Yes, hang on. I used to have a fanfare on here somewhere. Oh, it's not here. That's a shame. Anyway, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. From HDPP to you, this is our Hinckley map. Hinckley Town map. Now then, I would go as far as to say, you've seen it before. We've had it reproduced. This is the small one. Okay. It's the Hinckley Town map of 1782, okay? And this is what I call the small one, because it's in an A3 size frame, okay? That's good. These are going to be at Jasper's very soon. You're the first people to see it. We haven't mentioned this anywhere else. That is the first one, so that goes nicely on someone's wall. Or, if like Jan Kirby, you've got a wall as long as next week, and you need something bigger to fill it, I can give you that one. Look at that. Now, it does look a bit funny in this light because, well, I'm sitting in front of a green screen. Trust me, it is fine. And we've had these done, and Dave Kiddy has sorted these out for us. Thank you, Dave. And the great thing about it is, for those of you that are not aware of this map, it's got some great little interesting references all the way along the bottom. And this is the only map, and I've always said that it's the only map that documents one subterranean passage. Now, everybody was saying to me, "Oh, Paul, but there's passages under Bond Street to the Duke of Rutland, and from the Duke of Rutland to the old barley sheaf, and from the barley sheaf to the..." No, there's not. Let's get it clear. No, it's not. Until you take me down there and show me, I will not believe it. The town would be like that cheese with all the holes in it. We'd all go... But there is evidence of a subterranean passage, and it does say it on that map. But you will have to buy the map to find it. We haven't got the prices yet, but it's going to be very affordable. And every single last penny will go to HDPP local good causes. Oh, Jack Kirby said, "Oh, that's a big one." Lovely, but these are great maps. Seriously, we're thinking probably £5 and £10, respectively. But we are going to have them on sale. All proceeds to our local good causes. But they are fascinating, and it even goes on about astronomical. I'll put it down. It said astronomical observations were made from this point. Let's see. Gardens planted with fruit trees. Bond End horse pool. You see, there was a horse pool, Bond End. There was a penfold in Castle Street at the top end by Hill Street. There was a horse pool in Castle Street. You see, it's all there. And well, Dennis said, I'm saving up for my map already. Point out the church, please. Well, that'll do it. Just, you can't see it very well, Johnny. I'll get closer for the old girl. Here we go. Church. There. And it shows you the mills and stuff. It's it's one of those, we even see duck paddle on here. Yeah. And it really is just one of those things. Everything's numbered. So then you look along the key along the bottom. It tells you what it were, etc. And it's interesting just looking at this. We can't see it very well on this, but even the old field patterns where the roads now run today, respecting the old field boundaries, you can work them out. Like this bit here, for example, which is chapel yard, right? And then it goes through Baptist Walk, and then of course what is today Hollier's Walk, and then how it splits in two. That's all. Those passageways still there today. Get your map. We're going to have them in Jaspers very, very soon. We've got a pile of them, but once it's a one-off run, and once they're done. We won't be doing any more. I've just relied very heavily on Dave Kiddy. Thank you very much, Dave. He's used some contacts to get those done for us. It's not cost us anything, so that is fantastic, which means we can generate more for local good causes, and that's fantastic. So enjoy it. Anyway, after all that excitement, Kevin Beasley comes sauntering in. Sorry I'm late on parade. Well, that's all right, Kevin. You're one of the old guard here. So you've missed the good news. You'll have to rewind us and see what all the good news was about. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? We've already done that. We've got another feature to do now. In fact, I've showed you all about the blue. I thought tonight we give John Denny a lot of trouble. And rightly so, because he won't finish his book. As you can see here, behind me there, that's a preview edition. It says the John Denny Book of Pictorial Hinckley. And if you look really closely, it's published by In Your Dreams Publications. Okay. Now, we do give John a bit of grief, don't we? So we will be featuring some of his postcard work probably next week, actually. But this week, I thought we'd do a little bit of Earl Shilton tonight. Now, we're not going to have the full run of Earl Shilton because we haven't got the time. But we are going to do a bit of Earl Shilton before we're going to have a nosy tonight. Okay, then. Carol Beasley said, I'd like another clue on the anagram, please. Well, we've got fancy a drink, and the other clue is a public service. Right. John Denny sits there going, but because he's got it, he knows it. But this is a lovely place to go and visit. Yes, a lot of people go there for a visit, actually, and enjoy it very much. But the purpose of it is a public service. I know. Right, let's go to Shilton, shall we, for the next 12, 15 minutes. Here we go.
I'm Rosemary Coe, member of the Barwell Bits and Shilton Snips Heritage Group. Welcome to Earl Shilton. Mentioned in the Doomsday Book, it's grown from a village into a town with a proud and inspiring history. Many local entrepreneurs built thriving manufacturing businesses, producing millions of pairs of shoes and nylon hose, both for the home market and overseas, providing jobs for thousands of people. In the past, Earl Shilton boasted other industries, including a quarry, its own gas and coke company, a cinema and a skating rink, to name but a few. The skyline of the High Street and the Hollow remains virtually unchanged, although much has evolved over the years beneath those roofs, with many stories to tell. Join us now and reminisce as we journey along the main streets through the centre of the village, recalling Earl Shilton, past and present. We begin our journey on the hill approaching Earl Shilton, a scene much changed from 50 years ago. The village derives its name from the Earls of Leicester, who would have visited their hunting lodge overlooking Leicester Forest West. The original name of Earl Shilton was an Anglo-Saxon name, Skultone, meaning on a shelf. Looking back down the hill, a much reduced gradient than its predecessor, cars and buses in particular would struggle with the steep gradient, especially in the winter months. In the days of horse transport, there was a toll gate situated along the new lay-by. In fact, an adjoining field is still known as the toll gate piece. On the right of this photo stood Racket Court, owned by Freddie Wildman, known as Stale Freddie, because he supplied bread and cheese to the tramps when they presented their coupons from the workhouse in Hinckley on the way to Leicester. This photo also shows a farm where a huge barn stood, being known locally as Barn End. On the left, demolished cottages bordering the road, which housed two families, and shows how close to the road they stood and how narrow the road was.
This scene has hardly changed, with the exception of the model of car driven by Dr. Cook on his way to church with his wife. Just further up the road stood two thatched cottages, later demolished to make way for a car park. On the opposite side of the road is the site of the original slaughterhouse, which belonged to the butcher's shop. Once owned by the Reynolds family, then later Circums, it's shown here as the first house in the row. These modern townhouses stand on the site of the Roebuck public house. Looking back towards the top of the hill, Racket Court can be seen on the corner of Church Street. The double-fronted house to the left was the home of the Whitmore family, which adjoined their boot and shoe factory. Here it is at the present time. The factory suffered, as did so many during the decline in the 1980s. It's now industrial units, one being music rehearsal rooms, where it is reported that Kasabian rehearsed in the early days of their band. Keats Lane, originally known as Cake Lane, was the site of a communal bread oven. There was also a glove factory owned by Mr. Linney, which produced white gloves for policemen on traffic duty. Keats Lane is also the site of one of the oldest public houses, the Dog and Gun, right at the far end. The The shop just inside the lane is now offices, but it was previously a general store known as Tom Baker's. These cottages stood in the new car park opposite Ashfield's restaurant. Supreme Motorcycles now occupies the site previously used by Whitmore's. The wrought iron archway in the background leads to the Hall Field and the parish church of St Simon and St Jude. In the 12th century, it was the site of the Mott and Bailey hunting lodge. Looking across from the car park on the corner of the High Street in Keats Lane is a noodle bar. Although there have been many occupants of this shop for many years, it was owned by Amy Birch, who sold paraffin together with general groceries. Earl Shilton boasted many of these small corner shops, thriving alongside the boot and shoe and hosiery factories.
Ashfield's, now a successful restaurant for 3 decades, was originally the Bowling Green Public House. Looking back towards Hilltop, on the left is a row of terraced houses known as Bradbury's Row. At the rear of the houses stood Norton and Bradbury's hosiery factory. The tall chimney could be seen quite clearly on the approach from Leicester, proudly displaying N and B in blue brick around the top of the chimney. Hilltop House, a Grade 2 listed building, was the residence of Dr. Garrett, followed by Dr. Cook. The surgery was built to the side of the house, where patients waited to be seen, all the while listening in silence to Dr. Cook's booming Scottish accent, giving his diagnosis to his patient in the next room. No secrets in those days. A rear view of Hilltop House in the early 19th century, complete with domestic staff. The camera was a fascination to these residents. A past and present view of Upper High Street. In the distance is Post Office Row, but more of this later. Bradbury's house stands next to the terraced row, and to the right-hand side is the White House known as Hewenden House, which was once occupied by a dentist, Mr. Goodson, and later became Halstead the chemist. At the end of this row, the house before the garage, was where Mr. Davis the optician had his business until the move to the Hollow in the late 1970s. On the opposite side of the High Street stood the stables and garages belonging to the doctor's house and are currently being rebuilt as a dwelling. It will be appropriately named the Coach House. Joe Lucas had his shoe business on both sides of the High Street. He started in a house at the end of Post Office Row, later moving over the road when Post Office Row was demolished. This building has since been occupied by a variety of companies.
Next comes a more modern building built by Maynards, occupying the same site as their original factory, shown here prior to demolition. Lance Collier's fish shop was in this row as well as Maxfield's shop. It originally sold machine oil and sundries for the hosiery trade. Between the telegraph poles stands Post Office Row, housing the first village post office and also Mr. Waters' cobbler's shop. Opposite is the sad sight of the demolition of Tormental Row. This had to be done to provide road widening as the village was on the increasingly busy main A47.
Looking back to Post Office Row, in the foreground can be seen the monkey puzzle tree, for many years a landmark which stood just behind the wall in the old Victorian vicarage garden. On the left is White's shop, displaying an advertising board for Tizer. Mr. White also sold produce from his own market garden. On the site of Post Office Row now stands the parish church hall. The photograph shows the vicarage and a commanding view of the parish church steeple. The Jitty is known locally as Gaffer's Alley and leads to the Hall Field. A fine shot of the monkey puzzle tree, under whose branches many generations have played in the school playground. An elegant shot of the old school on the High Street, showing the boys' entrance, the girls and infants being around the corner in Orme's Lane. The foreground shows the entrance to the old vicarage. The school and other adjacent buildings were eventually demolished, but the monkey puzzle tree was retained. New apartments encompass the site of the school, together with other shops and cottages. This photograph shows the shops and cottages prior to redevelopment.
Immediately on the left was Bill Cox's newsagent. Bill is seen here proudly showing his patriotism on the occasion of the coronation of King George V. This building replaced Mr. Cox's shop and remains sandwiched between two blocks of the new development. On the opposite side of the road was the Working Men's Club. During the Second World War, soldiers were billeted there. It was said to have the best ballroom floor in the East Midlands. Dances of all kinds were held well into the 1970s. Many factory and sporting organisations held dinner dances at the club. It also hosted wedding receptions. On Boxing Day, whole families, complete with turkey sandwiches, would enjoy free and easy entertainment. This view from West Street shows the ballroom entrance and the start of the demolition. More apartments have been built on the site. The factory in the background was owned by Nevitz. It was an engineering company aligned to the hosiery industry. Previous occupants of this house were local businessmen Abraham Abbott, Mr. Best, a grocer and baker, and Peter Keithley, a bookmaker. It's now an award-winning fish and chip shop.
Next door is an original building which is occupied by Ironcraft, a manufacturer of ornamental wrought ironwork. Teddy Kirk, a previous occupant, was well known in the village, being the local undertaker and carpenter. He could often be found taking an afternoon nap lying in one of his coffins. To the rear of this building can be seen the remains of the forge belonging to the blacksmith's shop. Here's Mr. Gibbs busy at work. Across the road at the junction with Orme's Lane stood Bess the baker's. A delivery cart stands outside. The photograph also highlights the narrowness of Orme's Lane. This view of the High Street shows the demolition of Best's shop. On the opposite side of Orme's Lane was Janelle's, which sold baby wear. On the site of Best's shop, a filling station was built by Amoco, which was later acquired by Elf. The filling station also formed part of the site for the new apartments.
This shop was owned by Mrs. York and later on followed by Mr. and Mrs. George Green, and was a favourite haunt of many of the children who attended the top school. Opposite the shop was Orton's old boot and shoe factory. They produced men's and boys' shoes. They also specialised in sports boots and shoes for football players, golfers and bowls players, together with shoes for showbiz celebrities. In the foreground, the house shown was owned by Mr. Wildboy, a local cobbler. Further development replaced Orton's shoe factory with yet more flats. Below the sign indicating the old through road to neighbouring villages, a blue plaque commemorates the 3 local men who fought the Battle of Waterloo. They lived in Ormy's Lane.
And we'll leave it there, and we will join on part 2 for that next week. I think we're going to have to do that in about 3 parts because it's quite a long video. So there we go. We started our tour of Earlshire. We'll continue it in our next live stream next Sunday night, of course. There we go. Now, lots of people are starting to get the anagram now. Then you see how the clue makes sense. I will tell, just for those of you that like I say, struggling with it at the minute, those that may be. It's a lovely place to go, actually. You can go for a lovely walk there. I think it gives it away myself, but there again, this is says he that forgot what it was all last week. Let's go through 6 of the best one more time before our nosy comes our way in just a few moments' time. Question number 1. Where is the Bird Estate in Hinckley? The Bird Estate. I love that. Ha-ha. By the way, Dennis Poke said, I just got it. Well done. And Jan Kirby, I have been, Paul. Well done. Question 2. Where in the world would you find the Spanish Steps? That's question number 2. Question number 3. True or false? A line's roar could be up to 8 kilometres away. Is that true? Or I made it up? Well, Jane says, I can't get the anagram. Oh, hang on a minute. I'll see if I can come up with another clue. This is the year, guess the year, when VAT is introduced. Sunderland win the FA Cup, and the Dalai Lama makes his first UK visit. What a great year that was. We're in the grip of glam rock and all sorts. I should know. The biggest platforms in Hinckley. Question number 5. Where am I in Hinckley? You all know it, I know you do, I'm sure. But there it is. You'll see where we are in Hinckley very, very shortly. Okay. And here we go. The anagram question. Eton Inverters, Northern Trovers. Now, you can go to this place and walk around. It's very, very popular. It's very scenic. Fancy a drink? But we're not talking about a pub. And it's a public service. I can't say no more, really. I think that just sums it up. Come on, have a go. Think about where you can go for a lovely scenic walk. You could have a drink, but it's not a pub, and it's a public service too. I think it all fits quite nicely. There you go. That is 6 of the best. We'll give you the answers after our nosy tonight. And if you are late to the party, by the way, where have you been? Like I say, we've just got our brand new, for HDPP. This is the Hinckley map from 1782. It's 1782. Sorry, I was saying 92. 1782. There it is. That's the A3 version. And I do have here, just out of shot and in our studio this evening, got this even big one. Now, there we go. So forget these speckles on it, because I'm sitting in front of a green screen, so that's showing where some of the green is. But it's great. Now, I would also recommend, unless you have your own frame, the Hinckley Framers, although they're not a sponsor, but they will make a cracking job of framing one for you. Hinckley Framers down Castle Street. They really will do a great job. Okay, lovely. Available, and we think prices are going to be sort of £5 and £10 respectively. The good news is every single penny goes to HDPP local good causes, and we want to raise more as we possibly can. Right, okay then. Well, as we all said yesterday, I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. Mr. Nosy, Steve Picker, was actually interviewed on BBC Radio Leicester, which is great news. That's fantastic. But he also gave us all a mention. He gave HDPP a mention. So thank you, Steve. That's great. And it's great that your channel is going from strength to strength. Even though you can't do a new video every week. The poor lad Poor lad's got to put a roof on his house and all sorts, you know. And his wife says, come on, get these jobs done. So I appreciate, Steve, how busy it gets. It's a bit the same here with HDPP. You get so involved with me next week. 2 dates next week. I'm at Richmond Primary School on Thursday morning, and I'm at we're in Sharnford on Wednesday night. You see, and that's before we do these things, like, you know, doing the live stream or whatever. So it always takes a lot of time, but it's always a pleasure to bring our heritage to you and make you aware of it. And I know a lot of you have seen a lot of the stuff we've done before, but the fact that you still keep coming back for more, it's good for us as well. And I'm glad you enjoy it. Right, Mr. Nosy himself, and as I say, we're going to do a classic Nosy. This is probably one of his. I say they're all good, but I remember a lot of you saying how much you enjoyed this one. So settle back, enjoy the Nosy, and then we'll be back with the answers to this night's 6 of the best.
Hello and welcome to Let's Explore. My name is Steve, and today I've got an interesting little video for you lined up. Well, at least I hope so. I've got to put myself under pressure now saying that, haven't I? But I think you'll like this one today. Anyway, let me show you whereabouts we are today on the Google Earth. Alrighty then, so courtesy of Google Earth, we can view today's exploration from above, and as you can see there, the yellow dot that used to mark the spot is back for a guest appearance, because that naughty red arrow that I now use has decided that it's not working, so I shall be docking its pay. Yes, certainly, but as you can see there where the yellow dot is, not far from the village of Repton, so a little hop over the North Leicestershire border into South Derbyshire is where we went to look at these caves today, not far from Repton, as you can see to the left there. But what an absolutely beautiful morning it was to go out. I attempted this video yesterday, but there were just so many people about and dogs barking, I gave up in the end. But I got down there at about 10 to 6 this morning and it was heaven on earth. It was absolutely beautiful, birds singing and everything. Well worth getting up for. I felt like the only man on earth. It was spectacular. Right, so as I just mentioned there, this is my second attempt at recording this video, and what I've done this morning, I actually got up at 5 AM, bang on 5 AM to get down here. Now it's just gone 6:30 in the morning, of course, and the sun is just rising in the east over there. Move my big head out of the way, and of course down here you've got the mighty River Trent just down there, and some I think that's a former gravel pit over in the distance there. I'm not entirely sure. Right over there in the distance you can just see Ratcliffe upon Trent, the power station over there. In fact, I don't think you can even see that here. But it's a beautiful morning, and we're getting to that point now where the mornings are getting even lighter, and that's going to be brilliant for me, to be honest, because one thing I've been looking forward to is coming out and recording these noses very early before there's not a lot of people about. So really looking forward to the summer this year. Right then, so before I show you these beautiful caves that we've come to look at today, what's quite important to note down here is, just over there, of course, you've got the mighty River Trent that's flowing away from us there, going towards Nottingham in that area. And what you've got down here is an offshoot of the Trent. Now, apparently, this is the actual original path of the River Trent. Now, just up there, I don't know if you can see that beautiful swan in the distance. No, I don't think you'll see that. That is pretty much where the caves are. Now, when the actual Burdett family used these caves for their own recreational purposes, as you'll see shortly, this was actually used as a bit of a boating lake as well. But more on that in a bit. I'll tell you something else that's quite interesting here as well, because I'm stood on this concrete footbridge here. Now, I see this old tree stump here. That would have been a very old tree, I'd imagine. But just here, look. See that? Some really old stone there. So there must have been another really old structure here, maybe a really old bridge. I mean, this concrete one This is quite an old concrete bridge, but you know, it's certainly modern in terms of whatever that stonework is. Now that's not natural, that stonework that tree stump is growing out of or growing around. That's very old stone. So there was something else here, maybe a really, really old bridge. So a few fish swimming about down here as well. Beautiful. I'll have to bring the rod down here. But yeah, fascinating that is, whatever that could have been. Right, so we will get to the cave shortly, I promise you that. You know what I'm like when I get on the trail or something. There's that concrete footbridge I've just been showing you. And there's that tree stump there that's growing around those interesting stones that have been laid by the hand of man. They're not natural. Just here, you've got this steep bank here, look. Very steep. Just down here, look. Just been looking. I was looking to see if any of these bricks are marked. Because you know I love these old bricks. I ain't a bricklayer, but you don't have to be a bricklayer to appreciate and like old bricks, do you? So there's been a structure of some sort round here. Not really sure what. I'll have to look at the old maps again, but very interesting. Unless these have been dumped here. They may well have been. I really don't know, but it's quite interesting all the same. Right, so this is a bit of a precarious path, isn't it, here? At first, I wasn't sure if this was the actual main path, but it must be, because there's a footbridge there. I didn't actually come this way yesterday. I accessed the caves from the other end, but yeah, it's a bit steep, this is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Right then, so we have arrived at our destination. Anchorchurch Caves. Let's go and have a nosy, come on. Very interesting, this place. Right through the keyhole, this, isn't it? Who lives in a cave like this? Poor Lloyd Grossman accent there. I know, terrible. Right, so what do you reckon to this then? A very bizarre, very interesting at the same time structure, this. And it's not very often you come across anything like this at all in the British countryside. And you know, this could have been used on the film set of The Lord of the Rings, couldn't it? You know, what's that area called in The Lord of the Rings? Is it Rivendell, something like that, where the elves live, I think. But it's a fascinating structure, and all this has been carved out by hand in the 18th century, I think. Now, originally, there was a natural cave here that was carved out by the River Trent, apparently. And then in the 18th century, like I say, the Burdett family that lived at Foremark Hall, around about half a mile from here, they had the natural cave apparently extended. Got some contractors in, I assume, to carve all this out. I mean, they wouldn't have done it themselves, would they? The local gentry and all that. And they actually used this as a bit of a picnic room in the summer months when it was really hot. Because this is limestone, it's really cool in here in the summer, apparently. You know, what better place to have a picnic than this, outside your own little boating lake out there. But yeah, extraordinary building, this. Right, so why is this place called Anchorchurch Caves? Well, it's quite an interesting little tale actually, and I'll try and explain it as best I can, the nutshell version of it. Basically, of course, these were carved out, I think, in the 18th century. Of course, the Burdett family, as I explained earlier, must have got contractors in to do the work. Now, there was an original cave here, a natural cave that was carved out by the River Trent once, and apparently in the 6th or 7th century AD, there was a hermit that lived in here, in the original cave, and he took himself away from organised society, and he lived the rest of his life in here, praying every day. Now, there's a church not far from here called Breedon on the Hill, and well, the village is called Breedon on the Hill, and there's a church there that's quite famous locally because the church stands, it's quite unique actually, it stands on a really high hill. You'll know where I'm talking about if you live locally anyway. Now, that church is named the Priory of St Mary and St Hardulf. Now, the latter part of that name, St Hardulf, is the hermit that lived here, apparently. So like I say, don't know how much truth is in that, but it's a fascinating little tale all the same. Right, so you can just imagine in the 18th and 19th centuries, you know, the gentry, the peers of the realm sitting in here, you know, sipping fine matured wines and a cheese board knocking about in here with matured fine cheeses on it and all that, do you know what I mean, back in the day. But you know, this day and age, fast forward to 2021, and you've got the odd tin of Stella Artois knocking about, do you know what I mean. Other beers and lagers are available and all that, but yeah, it really is a fascinating carved out structure this is. And what's quite interesting in here as well is we've got old bricks, because what you've got here, look, is a really old fireplace, I assume dating to the 18th century. But someone's been in here last night, and I know why, because I can smell smoke. Now, I'd wager that someone's maybe slept in here last night. I would have thought so anyway. Smells like it, like I say. That fire hasn't all that long been put out, but it's a great place to come and camp, I suppose, you know. Especially if you're into your fishing, because like I say, you've got a good body of water down here, and I've seen a few fish actually swimming about in there this morning. So, but yeah, a fascinating place, it really is. Okay then, so what you're looking at now, courtesy of Wikipedia, is an engraving that's dated around about 1823. And as you can see there in the background, you've got those impressive caves that we're looking at today. And you can see some people there on the bank, and there's also a chap in a boat on the lake. But what I thought I'd mention here that I didn't really make very clear earlier was, you know, this place is called the Anchor Church. But why is it called Anchor? Well, it comes from the word anchorite, which means a religious recluse. Well, that makes sense in the case of St Hadulf, doesn't it? So I just thought I'd drop that in there for you. And apparently, in the Middle Ages, here at the Anchor Church Caves, there was actually a monk that lived here as well. Now, apparently, he was banged up here. It was used as like a prison cell because apparently he committed quite a bad crime. Now, what that crime is, I really do not know. And again, you know, how much strength is in the truth of this little tale, I don't know. Like I say, local myths and legends and all that jazz. But I was actually, when I was down here yesterday, there was a family here walking a lovely Rottweiler. And the woman who was with the family was telling me that she heard that this monk was actually put in here because he murdered someone. So hopefully we don't see him today, but it might make for a good nighttime nosy, this one. Do you know what I mean? So might be coming down here again in the dead of night. Right, so earlier on in the video, I may or may not have said that this beautiful cave structure was carved out of limestone. If I did say that, I was wrong, because I've just remembered it's sandstone this is. And you know, a very workable stone when it comes to actually carving, because I mean, you've only got to rub it slightly and the sand starts falling away from it. So whoever carved this out, you'd imagine that they'd have got expert miners in, wouldn't you, to actually carve this out. I mean, this is really intricate, this is. You know, you've got this sandstone pillar here with the two arches either side. So it's very workable, not like granite, you know, it would have been, you probably would have needed dynamite in here or something, you know, but it'd been a lot of hard work if it was harder than sandstone anyway. Alrighty then, so courtesy once more of Wikipedia, what you're looking at now is the Anchor Church Caves with the door on. Now this door was indeed fitted in 1845, and ain't that brilliant though, to have that in the grounds of your hall. Of course the Burdettes, I've not really gone into them in detail, have I, but I didn't really need to today. This was all about the caves, to be honest with you. But where these caves are, this would indeed have been all the land down to the River Trent belonging to the Burdett or the Burdett family back in those days. But absolutely incredible. And as you can see in front of that door, there is actually some steps that, of course, back then were very well intact, and sadly, they're not really there anymore. But, you know, it's absolutely brilliant. I love this photograph. So, of course, on that photograph I've just been showing you, there used to be a door fitted there in that archway many, many moons ago. But on that same photograph, you can see that area. It's a bit dark, isn't it? You can see that area in the photograph. Now, you can see in that photograph a bit of a stone wall that goes across there. Now, what I think this was, this is my theory anyway, I think this was a bit of a balcony area, a viewing area. So when you were sipping your wine with his lordship and what have you, you could stand there and have a brilliant view across the Trent Valley. Of course, back then, in those days, you didn't have the abandoned Willington power station, which I might actually go and look at one day, to be honest with you. But just here, got sidetracked then, didn't I? You've got this old fire pit or fireplace here. Maybe there was a bit of a chimney up there once. I really don't know. I mean, there's evidence of smoke staining just up there. Don't know if you can see that. I mean, people definitely use it as a fire now. I can still smell it. But you've got a stone wall here, man-made, that used to go across here at some point in the past. So yeah, I think this was a bit of a balcony viewing area. Magic. Right then, so the best part of 100 metres down from that beautiful Anchor Church cave that we've just been looking at, you've got this little stream here in all this mud that comes from beneath the sandstone just down here. Now, this might actually be a natural spring. I'm not sure. It's certainly sprung up from somewhere, isn't it? But what got my attention wasn't the spring itself. It was what is in here. Now, we've got really old bricks here. So, I mean, I really don't know what this is for, this brickwork. I'll give you a closer look at it. And there you have it, a very intriguing and interesting piece of brickwork. And they've managed to intricately wedge it between about 8 or 9 inches of this sandstone here. But of course, just down here, look, you've got this stream coming from below the cliff face. And I'm wondering if there was some sort of water pumping mechanism or something here. I really don't know. Because lying in the mud here, look, you've got this metal structure here. And a piece of really, really old wood here. Now, yeah, that is attached to that. That's actually bolted in there. So, like I said, I don't know if that is something to do with that. Maybe this was a spring, and maybe there was some sort of pump here to get it to the actual cave system once for his lordship to have a fine glass of Anchor Church cave water. I really don't know. Okay then, so what you're looking at now, courtesy of the National Library of Scotland, is an Ordnance Survey map dated 1882. And as you can see there, I've got the red arrow back. We didn't have it for the start of the video. I think there must have been a gremlin in the system or something. Anyway, now what you're looking at there, what it's pointing to, the arrow, I don't know if you can just about make that out. The writing's very small, but it does indeed say spring. So what we was looking at there previously was indeed a spring. Now, if you happen to go down there and you happen to be quite thirsty, I do not recommend drinking it because there's an awful lot of dogs round there. Do you know what I'm saying? Right then, so what did you reckon to that? Extraordinary place, isn't it? The Anchor Church Caves, and you really do not expect to come across anything like that in the British countryside. You know, it's absolutely amazing, and what's even better about it, it's on a public right of way. You know, it's really popular, this place, and I did the right thing today coming down here really early in the morning. I mean, it's not even 8 o'clock yet. You know, I've not seen a soul down here, but extraordinary place. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share, and I will see you very soon for another video. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
A younger Steve there we had tonight. Well done, Steve, and congratulations on your Radio Leicester appearance. And say thanks for the shout out, as we'd say. Right, okay, excuse me. Right, it's time. It's that time, yes. It's answer time. Now, listen, do we allow John Denny to enter this or not? I mean, you know, have we got to put up with him? Yeah, or we're going to ban him? No, we can let him have a go. Because we know it makes him feel good. If only you could do his book. That'd be even better, wouldn't it? Okay, time for 6 of the best. Let's see how you're all doing. We'll try to give you some subtle clues along the way. But I think some of you do okay. Here we go. Right. So we started with question 1. Where is the Baird estate? Right. The Baird estate. Let's see if anybody comes up. Well, you want John Denny. Here we go. We'll see it come straight up. But yes, there is such an estate on Hinckley. Yeah. David Allen Burbage. No, it's not Burbage. It's Hinckley. Right. Now then, Jane Brown says Hollycroft Estate, Northern Perimeter Road. Yeah, I will give you Northern Perimeter Road, Jane. So you're in first, and John Denny will be upset. You got in before him, Jane. It is say Norman on the Perimeter Road, Normandy Way, just past the just on a little bit from the Triumph factory. If you look on Google, which I suppose a lot of you have done. Yeah, zoom in there, you'll see there's Sparrow, or is it Sparrow Close, and Lapwing Road and stuff. So yeah, so if you're saying just off the perimeter road, I will give you that by Triumph. Okay, so well done if you've got in that area. So well done. Question number 2. Now, where in the world would you find Spanish Steps? Where would you find Spanish Steps? Oh, let's see. Now then, this time, David Allen's come straight in this time with Rome, Italy. Yes, it's Rome. Want to go to Rome? John Denny, Rome. Yes, well done. With the Spanish Steps are not in Spain, they're in Rome. So there we go. So if you got that, well done. Give yourself a point. Let's see how you do with this one. A lion's roar can be heard up to 8 kilometres away. Now, did I make it up? You know what I'm like, a bit of a lark here. A lion's roar. Can a lion's roar be heard up to 8 kilometres away? Do you think that's true or false? David Allen says true. John Denny says true. Jane says true. In that case, it must be true. Yes, it is true. The correct answer for number 3, it's true. A lion's roar can be heard up to 8 kilometres away. So well done if you got that one right. We're going to guess the year now. The year that VAT was introduced. Sunderland won the FA Cup and the Dalai Lama came to visit the UK this year. Carol's on a learning curve tonight. We are saying indeed, yes, everyone's getting it. Too easy tonight. David Allen, Jan Kirby, John Denny, Jane Brown all say 1973, and so does Dangerous Dan. Absolutely a brilliant year, you know. I loved 1973, and when Life on Mars, the TV series, came out, and of course it was based in 1973, although they got some of the songs wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Great thing. And you can catch that on That's TV now, currently running at the minute. So well done. If you got 1973, absolutely spot on. So, where in Hinckley am I? Where am I? See, Carol's really learning things that she didn't know a lot of these things. Carol, always nice to teach a Burbage girl new tricks. Right. Jan Kirby on this one is wrong. Ooh, Dave B, the New Crescent, wrong. But Jane Brown comes with the right answer. The North Warwickshire and Hinckley College, Lower Bond Street. David Allen is wrong. And John Denny, right, of course. The Crescent, no, it's not the Crescent, but it is the college. And let me just show you where I am. There, look, there we are. Just in case you didn't know, you can find us there. So well done indeed. And finally, to put you out your misery, and we do have an answer tonight, by the way, not like last week. The anagram question, a local place, Eton Inverters, Northern Trovers. I put fancy a drink. Mrs. G said, I don't know, that's a bit misleading. She always tells me this afterwards. But anyway, I see straight away what we was looking for. Jane Brown has got it right, comes straight in with the answer. Severn Trent Thornton Reservoir. Yes, well done. And John Denny, of course, coming through with it, with the Severn Trent Reservoir Thornton. Carol, I gave you a big clue. I said they've got a big one in Rutland. And I said it was a nice place to go and have a walk round. It's very scenic. Yes, there we go. Yes, even Mr. Nosy got it tonight. Well done, Steve. Jan Kirby said, got Thornton Reservoir, but I didn't think of Severn Trent. Well, there you go, you see. There you have it. And he did say it's a public service. I did say it was a public service. Absolutely. And Steve says, it's the oldest reservoir in Leicestershire, I think. Yes, I think you could be right there. But like I say, caught a lot of people out because they did not get the Severn Trent bit, you see. I thought that was quite a good one compared to the laugh we had last week and how embarrassing that was. Okay, I think there's a few people who have actually got 6 out of 6 this week. Let's start getting your scores in, please, and we'll see how we're doing. Alan 4, Marie 1. Jan Kirby's got 4. Dennis Perking, I got 6 for the first time ever. Well done, Den. Okay, Kevin Beasley, only 3 tonight. Carol Beasley, I got Thornton Reservoir. Yes, remember the next. Dave B, I think I got the Reservoir. John Denny, 6. Well, what do you expect from Mr. Smug? Also, David Allen's got 4. And Jan Cope says, well done, the Sixers. Daniel Coburn, oh dear, I've done terrible tonight. 1. Russett's got 2. Well done, Russett, that's good. Can I have half a pint, please? Says you put half a point. You can, Carol. Go on. Pat Galloway, 3 for me. Let's explore. He said, got 2, but not bad from a non-Hinckley person. Absolutely, Stephen. You had a go. That's the mean. Dave B. A. 1, A and a quarter, is that? Or 1-4. Anyway, Dave, it's always good that you take part. Only 2 tonight by Queen Bee. Surprising. That is surprising, because normally Queen Bee's usually on the ball with all that. But it's all good. It's all good fun. And that's what we do it for here at Hinckley District, past and present. We like to try and have a bit of fun. Now, first of all, let's just remind you, our social night, 28th of June. Yes, that will be taking place. But the July one, Sue and I will not be here because we'll be on holiday. So whether you would like to meet and talk about us while we're out of the town, you can do that if you wish. If not, I'll have to tell Louise she can have the room back that night. And I'm currently lining up a speaker for all our August bank holiday, our August social night, okay? And then September, it's Mr. Noser. October, it's Mervyn Wallace. And it's Eddie Smallwood in November, and then it's the Christmas party. Now, all the dates are on the pin notice on the group. So I don't want any of you. Oh, I'm going such my Christmas party on that night. No, you're not. You're coming to ours because we've told you 4, 5, 6 months in advance. There you go. Anyway. Oh look, John Dennis says I'll be able to go in June. Might not let him in unless he's buying the beers. No, seriously. So just remember that. So 28th of June is our next social night. So please come along. And then, like I said, we're going to have, in effect, I'll have a month off. And then we'll start all over again. All right? Good. I don't know if we're worthy to have John Denny amongst us anyway. Myself, he prefers soapboxes and cameras to HDPP. He really, really does. What's on at the Concordia? Alan Crop, you can stop that now. Naughty boy, send him to the back of the room. Actually, it's the summer season. The Concordia Theatre is sort of closed for the season around then. So, there you go. Well, it's been great being with you tonight. And remember, we have our maps. We'll get in them. We can bring some to the social night if you want. They're not in Jaspers yet, but they will be in the coming week. So if you want one, that's the big one. You can have you can have the A3 little, and I think we'll charge £5 and £10 respectively for those. And like I say, every last single penny goes to our local good causes. Okay. All the apologies are coming in already. I'm visiting my sister. Not in December. I hope that is. No, I know. June social. I mean, yeah. Good. Take care of yourselves. It's been great being with you. Hey, look at this, Alan Crop. Look at this. I'll actually be in Skeggy playing golf. What's that? It's like cricket. What's that all about? Anyway, take care. Thanks for spending your Sunday evening with Sue and myself. We look forward to your company, hopefully, next Sunday at the same time. Until then, to remember to keep it HDPP, to keep it live. Take care, everybody. Good night. Thank you. Willow. Come back. There's more. The part of the programme we never ever talk about. That's this bit now. We never talk about this in the main thing. This is just part of the programme. We like to send you off to bed with a little chortle, something to make you smile. And as you know, quite recently, every day I try and post a little gag, a little funny one. And some are better than others, I agree. But having said that, I think laughter is very important. The more we laugh, it really is. As the late great Ken Dodd say, it's very important to exercise your chuckle muscle, and it is absolutely true. Only 3 for you tonight, so I'm not going to keep you very long, but I think enough to make you have a little giggle with me. Okay, are you ready for them? Number 1, my grandfather has the heart of a lion, and also a lifetime ban at the zoo. Thank you. Well, that was a good one. Number 2, are you ready for this one? I never knew how technologically advanced Moses was. He had the first tablet that could connect to the clouds. Yes! And I know, stop. And finally, I just found out my uncle has left me a stately home in his will. I have no idea where Sodall is. I'm off to Google it now. Thanks for being with me tonight. Take care. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye.